Hunter Hayes is this week's Countdown co-host. Up next here on the Countdown is Brad Paisley, and I want to talk about you and your appearance on his new album. He did the album at his home studio, and actually we went down and did a thing for him on the iBook. We made an iBook. And I think we spent 5 hours, and he was at the console, and we would talk about the songs, and he would demonstrate certain things. Anyway, we went down to his home studio to do a countdown show, and he gave us a detail about that session that we hadn't heard before.
We had been having, for some reason, in the house that you're in right now, in the studio, there were 5 or 6 skunks in a row that decided to break in underneath the house and then go off. And we literally smelled so bad after finishing this track that we went up to say hi to Kim at our other house where we live, and I brought Hunter, and here's Hunter, and he's wearing a nice leather jacket and everything, and I'm kind of just wearing a shirt and jeans, and we go up there and walk in, and Kim goes, "I'm really sorry, guys, but I think a skunk has gotten in the house up here." And I said, "That's us, actually." And it was literally so bad that we walked in smelling like skunks. I mean, I'm sure he had to have his clothes dry cleaned after he played that track.
Yes, it was so strong. I'd never experienced anything like that. We were 4 floors probably above it. When you count them all up, you got a basement, you got a main floor, you got and this thing was probably under the basement because it was apparently stuck. It wasn't going anywhere. And I smelled it when I first walked in, and he made it aware. He was like, "We were having this issue." He's like, "Somebody's looking into it right now or whatever, trying to find it or whatever." And so I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe it'll go away in an hour or whatever. We went upstairs to the highest point in the tower. You could get away from this. And it didn't go away. And, so I, took my jacket off or whatever, and I just kind of rolled it in a ball and sort of hid it where I thought it might be safe, And I had a guitar with me. I had a brand new, this amp I had just bought or whatever, this old amp I was really stoked to have. And long story short, we didn't get used to it because every time we thought we'd gotten used to it, it would get worse. And so we were just like, and we were trying not to complain about it, trying to keep our spirits up or whatever. Right. And it's true. I went over to say hey, and we went over to his house, and we didn't spend that much time over there. I just wanted to see his car and his vet, and and then I got back in my car. And when I got back in my car, the sort of pureness of the car that's been closed in the winter hits you, and you realize what you've done to this purity. And I drove home. It was a long drive home, and I drove all the way home thinking, what am I going to do? So I got home, I changed, I hung my jacket outside because I had no idea how I was going to get this out. Put my clothes straight into the washer. I took my gear to a storage locker, like at midnight, right? I'm like hiding it in the storage locker. And I rolled the windows down in my car, and I drove around for an hour trying to get it out. And there's parts of the gear actually that was in that room that still have that.
Seriously?
Yeah.
And can you get skunk smell out of a leather jacket?
There is hope. It took 3 days. I left it outside, and I sprayed it with all kinds of stuff. I mean, I did everything. And eventually just leaving it alone worked. So to those of you in the world who are looking for a solution, I don't have it, but I do have hope. It does get better eventually. You just got to wait a long time.
That's funny.